Cam Underwood, State of the U. Please join him and the rest of the crew over on State of the U, SB Nation, stateoftheu.com. Get yourself set for the Virginia game coming up on Saturday with a Pitt win. The Canes are now 4-1. So, I'm going through my notes and taking notes watching the game on Saturday, and it was late in the second quarter before I saw De'Ara King throw the ball downfield, which speaks exactly to what you're talking about with lack of separation and playmaking from the wide receivers. But it was also a situation in which if they got into a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10 and 12, it didn't seem like they had much confidence, whether that be in De'Ara King or just the overall concept of completing downfield passes to cut them loose. They were running the ball. They were throwing swing passes on 3rd and long.
Well, and that also goes into the offensive line going against Pittsburgh's defensive front. And I was not as sold on Pittsburgh's defense going into the year, but I am very sold on that group now. Very strong group up front. And we, in passing situations, struggle to block them, and so you're doing that cost benefit analysis as well of like, okay, are we going to go straight drop? Because they got 2 defensive ends who were monsters, and they're going to probably bend that edge, and everything. And then I don't know if that's going to be a good situation for us on offense. I think Miami was like 4 out of 13 on 3rd down or something like that. That's exactly the stat. Yeah, 4 out of 13 on 3rd, which is not good, Bob. But, at some point, it is what it is. And, most of those were long downs. Excuse me. I was having an adult beverage. Sorry if you heard that through the microphone. But 3rd downs, geez, 12, 10, 10. We converted a 3rd and 1. We converted a 3rd and 0. That doesn't make sense. But okay. 3rd and goal. That's what it was. 8, 15, 10, 11, 13, 15, 9, 1, 6, 7, 6. So, there were a couple short and intermediate, yardages to get. But a lot of those, 6, 7, 10, 15, 13, that I just read off for 3rd downs. It's going to be tough, and against a tough Pittsburgh defense, again, and I said it, they're probably the 2nd best defense we're going to see this year behind Clemson. I don't expect to see anybody of the talent or caliber of either defensive front, to be darn sure. So it was tough, but it's a little bit of everything. And I know that people are like, oh, well, I want De'Ara King held to task as well. Yeah, but De'Ara King has also made some throws down the field that have not been completions for faults other than his. But I'm not saying he's blameless, but he does have some of that, some of the blame to go in there as well. Offensive line can be better in passing situations, like dictated passing downs, which is somewhere that we've always struggled, or at least for, a decade or more, and things like that. So, it's not great on 3rd down, but hopefully, again, going against defenses that are less talented and well-coached than Clemson and or Pittsburgh, will hope to build some things back in a positive direction like we saw, in those first couple of games.
And as I was watching, speaking of Pitt's defense, Cam, as I was watching Rashad Weaver just play havoc, just in all sorts of ways, I was thinking, can't wait to ask Cam, what was the recruitment story on Rashad Weaver coming out of Florida? Do you remember?
Rashad Weaver went to Carroll City. Oh, not to Carroll City. He went to Cooper City, which is it's a larger school. It was like 7A or 6A or 7A. They were in the same district as St. Thomas Aquinas. It is not a traditional powerhouse team. They beat St. Thomas like one time, maybe about 8 years ago. I think Weaver was maybe on that team as a junior, but that was like the high watermark for them. He was a big kid. He was like 6'5", 235 in high school, I want to say. So he was like a high 3-star kind of a caliber recruit, but he was getting those kind of second. He wasn't getting the love from the big three for whatever reason. So not Miami, Florida State, but it was those the next kind of tier of school. So Pittsburgh and Obviously, I think FAU tried to get involved because you're always going to try to, recruit for a market inefficiency from the large teams down here, things like that. But no, he was definitely a player. He definitely had the size. I think I saw them. I either saw Cooper City when they played Miramar when I worked there, or Aquinas. And he was. I mean, you could just tell he was a man among boys. Like, Cooper City, you're not going to really find many players from that school who have gone even FCS level. You know what I mean? It's not that kind of a football program. But when you have a guy of Weaver's size, he definitely stood out. And that was, someone who I think that was maybe on the periphery of maybe getting an offer from Miami or being on the radar for, Miami or like some of these other teams. But that was like around the same time as Keyshawn Camp, who was from Lakeland-ish or some other town over in the kind of southwestern side of Florida. And he ended up committing to USC and then transferred to Pittsburgh as well, did Keyshawn Camp. But yeah, Rashad Weaver was a guy who was known. I think he was first team All Broward, the Sun Sentinel, the newspaper. They do, their big schools and little schools, all county. So he's first team All County, I want to say. But yeah, just didn't really. There was something keeping the super elite teams from really recruiting him, and then he ended up at Pittsburgh, which I think was a really good fit for him, and he's really developed and played well there.
Yeah, the other defensive end, Jones, came into the game leading the nation in sacks, but Rashad Weaver just jumped off the screen. He was the guy just batting balls and just, oh my goodness, he was all over the place.